So I got some more updates from 2 months ago when I had that client who I can now reveal was a guest with my small hospitality business that I run. I'll leave it at that. So he was staying at my place, and it gets even worse than I already posted before. So in the apartment that he was staying in, there's a door to the utility room where I have a lot of my tools, and I just haven't gotten around to securing that door. So technically a guest can open it up and go in there. I do have a camera in there, so I would be aware, and that's exactly what happened. And it's so bizarre, man. I got a notification on the camera in the utility room. And actually just before that, he reached out to me and he said, do you have a flathead screwdriver? And stay tuned for why he wanted that screwdriver. It just makes the whole thing just bizarre. And it kind of actually makes it make sense in terms of why this is the type of person who would fall for Donald Trump and his tricks. So he wants a flathead screwdriver. And I respond pretty quickly. I'm like, hey, yeah, I think I have one. I'll bring it. Just give me a few. And as I am finishing up what I'm doing, before I go get the screwdriver for him, I get a notification on the camera. And I'm like, I know it's a utility room, so unless there's a rat in there, I'm like, is this guy in my utility room? Like, what's going on? The dude is in there, and he's going through my toolbox, going through all my tools, and then he randomly, I don't know why he was, I had a nail gun in a box in the original packaging, and he opens it up and he takes it out. I don't know why he's doing that. It's not relevant to his mission of trying to find a flathead screwdriver, but he's all over my utility room. There's a sign clearly on the door that says no access, do not enter, or whatever, but this dude is all up in there, right? So yeah, then later on he sees my text and he responds and he says to me, he's going to, what did he say to me? He's responding to my text saying that I'm going to bring I'm telling him I'm going to bring the screwdriver for him. And he says to me he's going to leave it in my toolbox. And he describes the color of the box. Now remember, this room is a no access room, right? It's not supposed to be in there. So that's the bizarre thing about it. I mean, he's violating the rules, right? But it's almost like he's just not aware of that. Like, just like how he's not aware of different things with Trump and what he's up to and what's really going on, you know, somehow, I don't know, he didn't read the sign, didn't understand what the sign means. I don't know what the disconnect is, but it's just like, what's the disconnect with Trump? It's so obvious, right? So I think that's an important detail, that it's not like this dishonest guy necessarily. I mean, some of the stuff was weird, like why is he in the nail gun box? That was kind of bizarre. So that's a little fishy. But the fact that he's telling me he's gonna put it in my toolbox, which he shouldn't know unless he, you know what I mean? So it's like he's completely oblivious to that he's not supposed to be in there. So it's not like he's like sneaking in there. Now, what he did in there is a whole nother story, right? In terms of the nail gun. But yeah, he's telling me, like, if he's being sneaky, why would he ever tell me that, right? You just say, hey, I'll bring it back to you, or I'll leave it by the door or something. So why did he need a flathead screwdriver? So I didn't have a setup for the TV in the room yet. It was just on the floor. I mean, my price was set, you know, accordingly, right? I didn't have a high price, so people were getting a value priced option. And, you know, in accordance to that, you know, you're getting a place nice, quiet, clean, simple, but, you know, don't have some of the niceties. But, you know, he was a long-term stay, and that's critical for me right now. I'm in a big financial bind. I need for this to work out. I need this to be no problems, no issues. I need this guy to be happy. I don't need a bad review right now. Things are tight. So I took the sacrifice to go and spend money I don't have, and I bought a TV stand. I bought some plywood for the bed. He complained about the bed because I had made some makeshift thing with some planks, and, you know, it was kind of flimsy. So, you know, his partner was complaining about it. So I went and I bought some plywood, and I cut it up to put it in the mattress, and I brought the TV stand. But I'm busy, man. Like, I have some real big issues going on right now, critical things I need to get done. I did not have time to you know, it's one thing for me spending money I don't have, but for me to spend time building this thing, not that it's gonna take that much time. I didn't want to like ask him to do it, but I kind of brought it in. I didn't really say anything, and then he just kind of like volunteered. So yeah, that's what he needed, a flathead screwdriver to build my TV stand for my apartment that he's staying in, right? This guy is a customer, and he's building my TV stand. He just sent me a photo 10 minutes ago of the stand that he built. So think about that. This guy is cool enough and nice enough to go build a stand for me. And he's like, you know, he had his complaints. Not really complaints, but he, you know, like, hey man, the TV stand would be nice, you know, but he's nice about it, and I would, you know, work with him, as opposed to having an attitude and like, maybe what a lot of people do, they won't say anything. They just leave you a bad review and say, oh, there was no TV stand. But no, he came up and he's like, hey man, it'd be nice to have a TV stand, right? And I work with him, and he worked with me. Friendly guy, but, you know, just a little bit off, you know, in some ways. And the thing about it is the behavior was suspicious from the beginning. Not suspicious, but from the very first time that he arrived, before I knew anything about politics. It's not even like I'm just judging him because of politics. I got some warning signs from this person and his partner. I specifically, I go above and beyond customer service, right? I sent this person the address because I know that, the service that he uses to book his reservation, the address a lot of times won't be correct. So I addressed this, and I did this the day that he's coming here, right? So it's not like he would have forgot or whatever. I mean, you're on your way, and I specifically told him, put this in your GPS. I specifically made a video because some people, they get lost, they come in the wrong entrance. I made a short video, it's like 30 seconds long. It shows you how to get in, where to go, and I specifically said, make sure to watch this video before you arrive. Around arrival time, I get a phone call. He says, I'm here. I'm looking around, I don't see anybody. I'm like, what is he talking about? He's like, I'm here. I look down the block to the other house where people usually end up when they don't follow instructions, and I see somebody there standing around who I didn't notice, and I'm like, that's probably him. And I said, I don't see anybody. He's like, oh, and then he says the address. I'm like, no, that's not the address. And I said, remember I texted you to the address? Oh, it's a crazy day, whatever. So he starts making his way over to the house, and then he proceeds to start going in the wrong entrance because he didn't watch the video that I told him to watch. 30-second video. I told him, make sure to look at it before you come in to help you to find the place or whatever it is. Doesn't do it. Doesn't follow the sign that says do not enter. Doesn't follow instructions to go to the address. Doesn't watch the quick video. I went above and beyond to make things easy, right? I mean, think about that. That's the kind of person that is easy to manipulate by somebody like Trump. Somebody who can't follow basic directions. Now, I already said too much. I mean, it's not a risk to me at this point, but I don't want to go too far. Even I've already done that already, but there's some weird, you could tell that the person's partner was, I'll just say, a little bit strange. And nice, man. It's not that these are bad people, right? I feel that, let me give you an example. This guy, I was strategically letting this person know that I'm kind of going through a little bit of a financial situation right now. I didn't go into details, but just let him know things are tough. This is how I said it to him. I phrased it to him. I said, and this is legit. This is true. I told him, hey, man, things are so tough right now. I actually considered building the TV stand. I thought about it. I was like, yeah, I don't have money to be buying a TV stand right now. How hard could it be? I got the tools, right? How hard could it be? It doesn't have to be fancy, right? You just need the legs and the thing and the base, and I could do this. But then I did the math, and I saw that I would save myself like $20 or $30. So it just, my time is worth more than that. So I ended up just going and buying it. But I told him, not in that many details. I was like, hey, man, without getting into much in my personal business, I mentioned the specific detail just in one sentence, which was a big reason why I'm in the financial situation I'm in right now, right? He said, man, I'm so sorry to hear that. And he like put his hand on my shoulder and he did, sorry to hear that, man. He did something like that. And I'm not being like facetious when I say legit. I mean, I don't know this guy's sexuality or whatever, but I mean, based on, his partner, doesn't seem like he's, I don't think it was nothing like that. I think it was just kind of a, man to man, whatever it is, reaching out, empathy type of thing. So I think this is a guy who has a good heart, has good intentions. And like I talked about in my previous conversation, the things that he's excited about regarding Trump administration, it's all good stuff for regular people. In his words, like you and I, right? Myself and him, he says, we've been taken advantage of, or I don't know what the phrase is, but just like the corruption in the government or whatever. And he's like, finally, things are going to turn around. And like, he generally believes like Tulsi Gabbard is going to like make things better. And he apparently knows Kennedy. And he's like, yeah, he's a great guy and blah, blah, blah. And he thinks these people are all great. And, our government was so corrupt. And now we have these good people who are going to fix things. How do you come to that conclusion? Well, you come to that conclusion by being a person who can't put an address in your GPS, can't follow a sign that says do not enter, who can't watch a 30-second video that tells you where to go, right? And then even when you get to the point where you're lost, even in that moment, you can't remember, hey, this guy sent me a link with stuff. I'm in the wrong place. Maybe I should look at that text that he sent. No, reaches out. I mean, fine, right? I'm customer service, right? He should have followed my instructions. I gave it to him, but the customers, I know people have different philosophy. I believe the customer is always right. That's the philosophy to have. This is business, right? This is business. It's not about me being right and whatever, in your opinion. This is business, right? This guy is paying me money. I need that money. I need to keep him happy. His inability to follow instructions is irrelevant to that perspective, right? It does not matter. What matters in a business is you need to have your profit or your revenue exceed your costs, right? Or at least cover your costs, at least, right? That is what matters. It doesn't matter, him following directions or whatever. So, I was happy, he called me, I was happy to tell him where to go or whatever. But really and truly, he should have in the moment checked the information I was given to him. These are basic things. If you can't figure this out, right, how can you be able to see through the lies of Donald Trump, of Kennedy, of gabber of all these clowns that are going to be going in our government, right? How can you be able to recognize the true corruption in our government and also recognize that the people going in now are even more corrupt than the ones before? How can you be able to comprehend those two things being true as opposed to, good and evil? Those guys bad, these guys good. And of course, he had to use, at some point in some conversation, he had to use the absolute statement that people use. It's just so ridiculous. Like, nothing's absolute, man. Kennedy is not perfect. Nobody's perfect. That's a pointless statement. It's pointless to say that someone's not perfect, right? The sky is blue. Up is up and down is down. I mean, water is wet and fire is hot. I don't know, man. It's got to mean something that you see a lot of similar behaviors from people that like Trump. Not that they're bad people. Some of them are for sure. But not that they're bad people. And I wouldn't even say necessarily that they're stupid people. But they seem to all have a pattern of all having some kind of issue that precludes them from being able to navigate certain things, like these very, very basic things I just illustrated. Like, for whatever reason, he was unable to, figure these things out. Those same inabilities or handicaps is going to be a serious liability in terms of being able to navigate American politics. It is what it is. This is the Debate Me channel. Debate me in the comment section below. Click on the like button, subscribe, smash that bell. Be well. And if I'm going to be talking about people's issues, I got to also talk about my issue in terms of I did really reckless behavior talking to this guy about politics, even though we didn't get heavy and I didn't get we didn't go like a real back and forth. Even lightly, that's way too far. This is business, man. This is business. Politics is very dangerous stuff, right? Especially instant I recognize that this guy's politics are opposite my own, I should have shut that down big time. If this was a regular person, random person, whatever, but a client, shut your mouth. That's why I say, man, it's not that I'm the smart guy and everyone else is dumb or something like that. I'm human. I have the same mushy piece of meat between my ears that everybody else does. We're not all the same, but I believe we all have liabilities that come from our brains, right? And that means that we're all stupid, right? People like to they're stupid. No, we are all stupid. Just a matter of how stupid you are. What I mean by that is you're stupid in some way. Everyone watching this video, just like myself, you are stupid in some way. You're stupid about something, right? You're not on top of every single thing. There's some part of your personality and your behavior that is just dumb, and that is being human.